So, I want to thank you for talking candidly about our scores, because I know that that's an area of, apprehension for teachers. It's sensitive. I think I mentioned before, people get really defensive when we start talking about our scores. So thank you guys for sharing candidly. And so I like your idea of going into EVOS, printing our projections by class, which I didn't do, I probably should have done that, but I didn't know that's a great tip. And I know you printed them like I did, where just whole entire.
Yeah.
Did your projections match your outcomes?
So I didn't break it down each by class, but I got through about half of them, and a lot of them did really well than what they were projected to.
Okay.
Because I had more than for my 3 sections, more than half were predicted.
More than half were predicted.
To get below 40, just similar to yours. It was really low. And just select students that I picked out, they scored a lot higher than they were projected to.
Fantastic.
So, and see, I don't even have the vertical learning. We have the boards, but see, I need some of the stands and stuff like you all have. So we use the boards a lot, but just similar to yours, we didn't start actually looking at old exam questions until about a week and a half before.
Okay.
When I started to.
So there is then really not a big need to teach to the test.
No, I mean,
research shows.
I don't think you need to teach to the test, but I do think it's fair for the kids to get used to like the jargon or the style of
I want to
writing.
introduce it
Like
earlier
that.
this time.
Like like we did it today. And this was my first day of content. Like I made a point to go through like EOC annotation practice, and I had taken 2 questions out of the Item Central school net, and I took them through the steps of like annotation. And I even explained to them like for people that have tension anxiety, which is something that it's really big here. This is something that can kind of help you get around that. So I do think it's good for them to see questions and how to break them down, and for us to model, how to break down a multiple choice question, because for all of us, it's just like it's always a multiple choice A, B, C, D. So
yeah.
I think that's a good skill to model.
Yeah, I want them to get more comfortable with looking at test questions, how it's worded, because how we distribute our tests or exams is, the jargon is just different. So that's what they get nervous about, because they can ask the same thing that we talked about, but the wording is just different, and they just shut down.
Okay.
When you guys say annotate, do you mean just like underlining, wording, and like actually writing out this vocab means that?
For me, it's actually writing out. Underlining for me is not enough.
Yeah. Okay.
If they just underline or they just highlight, that's not enough.
Yeah.
I want them to tell me what they think the question is asking of them. And then after that, I want them to tell me what they think the question, the product of the question should be. So what is the question asking you? Like just in general, what is it talking about? And then what is the question asking of you to find, to do, to measure? Does that make sense? So for me, when they have those 2 pieces, that is a correct annotation. But just underlining and highlighting, no, that's not enough.
I had them circle it. They write the definitions for the words they know, and then
that's good too. That's excellent. Like for when we begin a chapter or a unit, that's excellent to do. Circle this vocabulary word, do the definition, Freire models, and then at the end of the unit, they should be able to look at the question and they should be able to tell you, okay, I think this question is asking me to do this. I think this question expects me to know this. Things like that.
I like that. But for y'all, it is going to be a little bit different because y'all have like math involved. So like ours is more like, I know for us it's more like you have to apply the content. So you have to like mentally retrieve the content. That's why we annotate, and then you have to apply it. But for you all, it is going to be like, which formula? So that's a different ball game.
For us, it's which formula exactly.
Because they have
so I like those steps.
That's why I have them. What do you think this question is asking you to find? Because for us, it's formulas.
Right.
I think 85, 90% of the class is using a formula.
Cool.
Okay, so as we're talking here, I've been typing our findings for our critical need and our strategies to help overcome the critical need. And as a science department, I think we can't really do common assessments, but we can standardize the way that we do things in the department across all of our classes. So we're definitely doing the quiz them every Friday. Short and sweet. If we're only trying to assess one standard, maybe 2 at a time at the most. Like for physical science, for example, 1.12 and 1.13, for example. So 1 standard at a time every Friday, 5 questions, no more than 10. If your questions are good, with 5 questions, it's going to tell you whether the kid got it or not. We can try for those questions to be from SchoolNet or Performance Matters, or whatever is available, or release tests. In my case, I love using release test questions.
For physical science, do you have like the assessment example questions?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Yes, I have the assessment example questions per standard. Yeah, I have that. I'll email it to you.
I have it here.
Okay. So we're all going to do that. So that's a step towards. We're all talking about having some type of lunch tutoring and moving away from the after school because it's not successful. Let's see, those are all things we've changed. We've done the vertical learning. We're all set up for vertical learning. Ms. Burris, I think I can get you that one that's on wheels there for your room. It just needs to be covered.
I but the research for they literally is called horizontal non-permanent surfaces. It's literally right behind vertical. Where you can literally, it's like a table you can find online about it. The guy that's doing the research on it, and it's almost neck and neck. So it's like if we can't get you that, you still might want to utilize the boards because it's like.
Yeah, I still am. We're using them tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
What other common things are we doing that we've talked about?
Well, I'm kind of excited. Like, it came up earlier, but I'm excited about, and I mean, however y'all feel, but I would love, say what now?
The theme night.
Yeah, I think that would be big. Like, make Thursday night is science night. And because we quiz, and our rationale is, look, we assess on Fridays as a department. So Thursday night is science night. Parents, we need 15, 20 minutes and like give parents a protocol, for like how they, set aside time. Like, what does set aside time look like? Like, that means like put timer on, take away all the devices, take away all distractions, create a space that's for learning, and in particular science learning, because we assess every Friday. Department wide. Like, I think that's so heavy and so intentional. Yes. Like, we should use Connect Ed. Right, they call for everything. But yeah, like, that would be so heavy as a department. They're like, whoa, they are not playing. They do business.
Okay, and do you feel like we can do one parent night a month?
I don't know. What do y'all think? Now, I will say this. Like, a lot of my parents don't have vehicles. I will say that because I've already picked up on that. That's come up because it came up when I had the conversation about Saturday school. My mom doesn't drive. My parents don't drive.
Would you guys like to implement a virtual meeting?
I like that.
For example, I can set us up in this technology that I've been using with my A&T students. It's called Zoom. And you can use it from your phone or from a desktop or laptop. So as a host, you would be hosting the meeting, so you would use probably your laptop. And it's very, very easy. You can do all kinds of things. You can have up to 100 people in your meeting. You can turn on their microphone or turn it off, your participants. You could turn their video on or you can turn their video off, but they would see you, they would hear you, and they could see your screen if you share your screen. So we could set it up as virtual meeting night. We would, I'll show you how to do the Zoom. I'll show you how to set up the meeting. You send them, it's a link. Literally, it's that easy. It's a link. If they're on their phone, they click a few numbers on their phone, and they're in the meeting. You can set the meeting up for any time, any day. And I have one tonight, as a matter of fact, at 7 o'clock. So that link, my students, I've already given it to them. I've already sent it to them via email. They'll log in. I'll log in as a host. And at 7 o'clock, the meeting will begin. It'll start recording. That's the other piece I like, is if my students cannot be in the meeting with me because they're in another class or they're at work, it automatically records my meeting. It automatically saves it to my computer so that then I can take that and upload it to YouTube. And then I send them the YouTube link later on in the evening. So if you think that we won't be as successful as getting the parents here in this building, then maybe we want to try doing virtual meetings instead.
Could be. Yeah, I'm with it. Whatever.
I think the virtual meetings would be better.
Because they
I
all
think
have
it'd be a
phones.
better turnaround.
Yeah, the kids have phones.
You know, and they don't have to, they can listen into the call. So they don't even have to use video services if they don't want to.
Oh.
They can literally listen into the call. If that's something that they, you know, if the technology limits them.
Take right there and take the phone. Excuse me.
Hey,
I'm sorry.
This one?
Yeah.
Which one? This one? Keep it.
All right, thanks.
So I'm thinking that maybe we can host one big science night here at school, invite all of our parents, present to all of our parents, and then say, from here going forward, we're going to have one meeting a month virtually.
Yeah, I like that idea because all of them have phones.
What do you
Just
think
get
about
them.
that?
I like it.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
We need to get on the calendar for science night. I guess we need to talk to our administrator. Where is he? Lunch duty. Oh, I need to do lunch duty.
Okay, for physical science, we are going to use Edmodo to upload, you know, slideshows, videos, assignments. Ms. Burris, is there something you're planning on using for earth science?
I haven't decided yet. I haven't used that modal. I want to play around with it.
Oh, it's super easy. I love
Because
it.
I asked my students on the first day. They never heard of it, so it's going to have to be
Really?
cool.
All my old kids make me use it.
Except a few in my honors class, but they didn't know, or they acted like they didn't know.
You might have phased out because the older kids love it, like the seniors.
Yeah, see, maybe though, because they were like, what's that? So I would have to familiarize myself with it and then show them how to.
It looks just like a Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
and you can have your three separate classes in there. It's very user friendly, much more user friendly than Moodle, Blackboard, Canvas.
Here we go.
It's lovely.
They said the kids don't have Canvas accounts.
No, the kids do not have Canvas
That's
accounts,
nuts.
so we cannot use Canvas with the kids.
It's just some of the CTE teachers do, don't they? Because I know like Fullwood would have.
But
some with
CTE is different funding.
Yeah, so they may. I think CTE class.
Some
That's
of
crazy.
them, because I know like Edward uses Edmodo.
I have Edmodo.
And then are you gonna turn on Edmodo?
Oh, I
so
have-
we're all
yeah, I
gonna
have
use
one.
Edmodo?
I have one, but my kids.
Yeah, I'm gonna look at it, and I most likely probably use that. I'm gonna have like a little day, maybe towards the end or something, a section in class, or we gonna go through it.
Because it is easy. You just like upload.
It is. You just
I
literally
know
drop a
they're
bunch of stuff in
writing that
there.
to you. They probably are just playing like they never heard of it.
They
No,
might
you
not
can
have
drop
heard
a bunch of stuff in
Their
there.
age.
Yeah, they're young.
Like, because the young ones, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know how things kind of get
Yeah,
popular
I
and phase
remember
out?
we used
Uh-oh.
we had access to it at Wellborn,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, at one
and they
point,
have tablets at Wellborn.
at
so,
one point they used it though.
That's why I think
But I'm
some of
like-
them were just kind of.
Oh, being lazy bums?
Yeah. So we're gonna see, but yeah, I most likely will, because it'd be a way for them to go look at the notes, look at this, look at handouts and stuff, without them saying, "Oh, I already have it. You didn't give me one." Like, it's right here.
I have one more strategy for us to do our vocabulary. How we talked about having well, I know we talked about having at least one day at the beginning for vocabulary. And on our cabinets, y'all have book rings.
Okay.
Or figure out how to hang a big Ziploc bag full of index cards that the kids make themselves, flashcards with the vocabulary, so that every day when they come in, they go to a cabinet and they practice vocabulary.
Okay.
I'm gonna start that on Monday.
Cool.
If you guys want to see what that looks like, it might be a little messy at first, but if you want to see what that looks like, I'm gonna start it on Monday.
Sounds good. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you guys. I appreciate it. Thanks for spending